Hello and good morning to everyone. So in this video, we'll be learning about segment tree. So let's start with the problem. So suppose you are given this array 251493 and you are asked to find the sum of elements present in the range from index L to R. Then how will you do that? So you may say that you will loop from index L to R, right? That is you'll use a for loop from L to R. So this will be good if we have only one query. But what if we have multiple queries? Then you may say that you will use prefix sum. That is you will find the sum of the array from index 0 to index I, like sum of all the elements from 0 to index I, and this you will do for all the elements. And then if you have to find the sum from index L to R, then you what you will do is you will do prefix of R minus prefix of L minus 1. That will give you the sum from index range L to R. But what if I say you that the array also get updated between the queries, right? So now if the array get updated between the queries, then every time you have to find the prefix array, right? Every time you also have to update the prefix array, which will take a big of n time. So in that case, how will you do that? So if if updation takes place in between, right, then if you use the simple loop method, then every query will take big of n time and updation is done in big of one time. And but if you take prefix sum, then query will take big of one time but updation takes big of n time. So if we have total n queries plus updates, right, so queries plus updates is n, then in worst case the time complexity will be big of n square, right, if we follow either simple loop method or prefix sum method. So what we do is we have to optimize this time complexity. So basically we need a data structure which will handle updation and query efficiently, right? So for this we use the segment tree, right? So segment tree, what it does is it helps us to query in log n time, and updation also takes place in log n time. So if we have n queries and updation, then our time complexity will be n log n earlier, which was n square, right? So we have using segment tree we can reduce the time complexity from n square to n log n. Now next what we'll see is we see how segment tree handles these like updation and query efficiently. So earlier what we were doing is we were recomputing the sum every time, right? Either using the loop, either using the loop from L to R or using the prefix sum. So now instead of that, what we'll do is we'll divide the array. We'll divide the array into segments and store answer for those segments, right? So let's see. So suppose we are given the array 251493, right? So see, we have taken the whole array, then divide the array into two different segments, 251 and 493, and then further divide those segments into multiple segments. Like we have divided 251 into 2 5 and 1, then 2 and 5. Similarly we have divided 493 into 4 9 and 3, then 4 and 9. So we divide the segments until each segment has only one element, right? We keep dividing. Then see, so this is only for explanation. So basically these nodes, so basically these are the, so what we need here, we need sum. So each node will store the sum of the segments, will store the sum of the segment. So this node will store the sum of the whole array, this node will store the sum of these three elements, this node will store sum of these three elements. So this way these elements will store the sum. So once we reach the end of the tree or the leaf node, then we return 2 from here, we return 2 from here, we return 5 from here. Then we store the sum of left and right. So sum of left and right is 2 plus 5 is 7. So here the node will store sum as 7. Then we return 7 from here and we return 1 from here. Again we take sum of left and right, sum of left and right is 8. So this node will store sum of 8, sum as 8, that is 5 to 7 and 8. Similarly this will return 4, this will return 9. So we store 13 in this node, this will return 3, then 13 plus 3 is 16. So this node will store 16 here. Then from here 8 will be returned, and here 16 will be returned, and 16 and 8 is 24. So this node will store 24, right? And if we see the sum of the segments 5 to 7 and 1 8, 8 is stored. 5 to 7 8, 8 4 12, 12 and 9 21, and 23 24. So see, 24 is stored. So this way we'll build the each node. So basically we have divided the tree into segments. Once we reach the leaf node, the leaf node will return the sum, and each node we take the sum from the left node, we take the sum from the right node, and we store the sum at that particular node, right? So this way we'll build the segment tree. So if you see, this is what our segment tree will look like. So here this node will store the sum as 24, and the range is 0 to 5. Then we divide the range into two parts. 0 to 2, sum of 0 to 2 will be stored this side, and 3 to 5 will be stored this side, right? Then 0 to 1, then again 0 to 1 is divided into two parts. 0 to 0, range is from 0 to 0, and range is from 1 to 1. So when left and right of the range is same, that means only one element is there in that range. So we store the sum and return the sum back, right? So we return 2 here. Then here also only one element is there, so we return 5, right? So here we get 2 from the left node and 5 from the right node. So we store 2 plus 5, 7 here, and then we return 7 back. So we have returned 7 here. Then we go in the right node. In the right node we have only one element having the sum as 1, so it will return 1 here. So this way we'll build the whole segment tree, right? This way we'll build the whole segment tree. So we have seen how the segment tree has been built. So here each node will store sum of its segment only. Basically each node stores some of the elements which present in that segment. So next what we'll see is, we'll see how the query is done. So now we have built the segment tree. Next we see, if you have to find the sum of a range L to R, then how will you find that sum? So earlier what we were doing is, we were visiting all the nodes, we were visiting all the nodes from L to R. But now using the segment tree, we will visit only important or relevant nodes, right? So we have three things. We go to a node and take actions, like, so suppose if node range is outside the query range, then we ignore that particular node and stop going further. But if the current node has partial overlapping with the query range, then we deeper go deeper inside the children's, like we explore both left children and right children of that particular node. Or what can be the third case? Third case is the current node range is fully overlapping with the query range. In that case we directly take the value of that node. So these are the three things that we check while querying a node. So let's try to understand it with the help of an example. So we have taken the same segment tree, right? We have taken the same segment tree which we have built earlier, and now we want to find the sum from 1 to 4. So see, this node has the range 0 to 5. So if we see 0 to 5 and 1 to 4, both are partially overlapping. So we explore the childs. So we go to the left child and right child. So first we see the left child. So left child has the range 0 to 2, sorry. So 0 to 2. So 0 to 2 is also partially overlapping with 1 to 4. Then again we go to both the childs. So first we see the left child. Again the range is 0 to 1, right? So again if we check, 0 to 1 is partially overlapping with 1 to 4. So again we move to the both the childs. So first we go to left child and then we go to right child. So in left child we have the range 0 to 0. So 0 to 0 is outside the range 1 to 4. So we ignore this node. Then we go to the right child. In the right child we have the range 1 to 1. So 1 to 1 is fully overlapping with the range 1 to 4, right? So we take the value of this node. So 5 is returned from here, right? And now see, this was the partially overlapping node. So 0 will be returned from here, 5 will be returned from the right child. So we return 5 from here, right? We return 5 from the left child. Then we go to the right child. The range of the right child was 2 comma 2. So 2 comma 2 is fully overlapping with the query range, that is 1 comma 4. So it will also return its value, that is 1. So 5 will be returned from left child, 1 be returned from the right child to this node. So now this node will return 6, that is left plus right, 5 plus 1 6. So it will return 6 to this node. Now we have come to this node. So this node range is 3 comma 5. This node range is 3 comma 5, and this is also partially overlapping with our query range, that is 1 comma 4. That is 1 comma 4. So we again go to both of its child, left child and right child. So if we see left child, that is the range is 3 comma 4. So 3 comma 4 is fully overlapping, so it will return its value. So it has returned 13. Then we go to the right child. Right side range is 5 comma 5, and 5 comma 5 is outside the query range, so it will return 0. It will return 0. So this node will get 13 from its left and 0 from its right. So it will return 13 to the its parent node. So its parent node will get 6 from left and 13 from right. So 6 plus 13 is 19. 6 plus 13 is 19. So 19 is the answer. So the sum from the range 1 to 4 is 19. So we get our answer. Right? So let's move to the, so we have seen the how the query part is done. So now we have seen how we build the tree, and we also seen how query part is done. Next what we'll see is how the update part is done, right? How the update part is done, like so suppose we have taken the array, the same array 2 5 1 4 9 3, and now what we have to do is we have to update the index, that is 2 to 10, right? To update the node, so we have to update the index value 2 with 10. So we update only those nodes which includes index 2 in their range, right? Or we update only those nodes which include index 2 in their range. So first node 24. So 24 we have 0 to 5. So node 2 is in their range. So we go deeper in the childs. Then we have 0 to 2. 0 to 2 also include 2 in the range. Then we go to the left child. Left child is 0 to 1. It doesn't include 2 in the range. So we go to the right child. Right child is 2 to 2. It includes uh, that node 2 in their range. So earlier we have the value 1. So we update value 1 to 10. So now we have updated value 1 to 10, and we return value 10 from here, right? We have written value 10 from here. Now this node will take value of its left child and the updated value of its right child. So value of left child is 7 and value of right child is 10. So 7 plus 10 17. So this node value is also been updated. Then we again go back, right? So here this node, so it will take value from left child, that which is 17. Then we see the right node has the range 3 to 5, so it doesn't include 2 in its range, so it will return nothing. So here this node will take value from the left child. Left child updated value is 17 and right child value is 16. So 17 plus 16, the value is 33. So we basically have to update only 3 nodes, this node, this node and this node, if we have to update index number 2. So for updating index number 2, we just have updated 3 nodes, right? We just have updated 3 nodes, and only those nodes which has 2 in their range. This node has 2 in their range, this also has 2 in their range, and this node also has 2 in their range. So this way the update is done in the segment tree. So now we have seen all the 3 things: how segment tree is built, then how query is done over the segment tree, and how the update is done. So we have explained these 3 things. Now we will see how the segment tree is implemented, right? So we have seen that the segment tree is shown as a tree, like we have node, we have pointers, but in implementation we do not use nodes and pointer. We basically use array for efficient implementation, right? So we'll see how the segment tree is implemented using an array, right? So let's start. So basically, if you use if you use one based indexing, then our root node and our root node will be at index number 1, right? At index number 1 root node, then its child will be left child will be 2 into node value. So node is equal to 1, and right child is 2 into node plus 1 at index 2 into node plus 1. These are the values of index of left child and index of right child. So if parent node is 1, then left child will be 2 and right child will be 2 into 1 plus 1 3. Then its child will be 2 into 2 4 and 5. Its child will be 6 and 7. So this way the whole tree is implemented using an array. So these are the indexes of the nodes, right? But if we use zero based indexing, then left child will be 2 into node plus 1 and right child will be 2 into node plus 2. So we use one based indexing because it's easy to remember, right? 2 into node and 2 into node plus 1, so it's easy to remember. That's why you use one based indexing, right? And it's basically depends on the implementation, like which one we have to use. And the first one is easier to remember, so we use one based indexing, where if parent node index is node, then child will be 2 into node left child and right child will be 2 into node plus 1. This is left child and this is right child. And array size, what will be the array size? So if we see the exact size, it will be 2 into next power of 2 minus 1, right? Suppose if you have n nodes, if the size of the number elements is n, then it will be 2 into next power of 2 minus 1. This is the exact size, but we use 4 into n for simplicity and safety. In that case, we do not have to calculate the exact size of the array, so we use 4 into n, where n is the number of elements in the array, right? So if we take example, if n is equal to 6, then the exact size is next power of 2 is 2 ki power 3, which is 8. 8 is greater than 6, so 2 into 8 minus 1, 15. 15 nodes are enough, but for simplicity we directly take 4 into n, yani 24 sized array, right? So we do not have to calculate the exact size, right? So let's see the code part of the implementation. So first is build. So we have to build this segment tree. So if start index and end index of the range is same, that means only one element, yeah. So that is the base case. So base case is, so see, we have node is basically showing the index, and then we have start and end. So start and end is showing the uh, starting and ending index of the range of that particular node. So if start is equal to end, that means only one element is there in that range. So then directly trees are array, tree and node is the index, is equal to array of that start array of that starting range, right? And then we return. Else what we'll do is, if if multiple elements are there in the range, then we find the middle element and then split the range into two parts. We find the middle element is split into two parts. The left part will be from start to mid and the right part will be from mid plus 1 to end. And as we know, left child index is 2 into node and right child index into is 2 into node plus 1. So we call these two functions, right? So we first find mid is equal to start plus end by 2, and then we call build for the left child. So this will build the left part of the tree and this will build the right part of the tree in the array. And then see, this left part will store some, right part will also store some in the array. So tree node, basically sum of the node is equal to sum of the left child, that is 2 into node, plus sum of the right child, that is 2 into node plus 1. So left child plus right child, their sum is equal to sum of the parent node. So this is what we have implemented. So this is a build function. Next we will see the query function. So let's say range is L to R. So basically this is a range, this is our query range, and we start searching. And let's say our node range is start and end. This is a node range and this is the query range. So now we have three options: partial overlap. So if partial overlapping is there between the node and the query range, then we find in the children and return whatever we get from the children's. If full overlap is there, then we return the value directly, and if no overlap is there, then we return 0. So let's see the code of it. So here start and end is the node range, and L and R is the query range. So initially start is 0 and end is n minus 1, right? So we check if no overlapping case is there. See, in query, if there is no overlapping between the node and the query, then we return 0. So this is the range L to R, and the node range is 0 start to end. So when will there be no overlapping? If either the range is this side, means end is less than R, or R is greater than R is lesser than start, R is lesser than start, or start is greater than R. So in that case there is no overlapping between the query range and the node range. In that case we return 0. The next is full overlap. So if full overlap is there, that means the node range is lies between the L to R, lies between L to R. That means L is lesser than or equal to start, and end is lesser than or equal to R. So in that case we return the whole value stored at that node in the tree or in the array. Or if partial overlapping is there, then we find the mid element, and then query in the left child and query in the right child, and whatever we get from the left child and right child, that will return, right? So left will is the sum that we get from the left child, and right is the sum that we get from the right child. So we sum both these values and then return these two values, right? So let's see the third thing. So third thing is update. So we update index with the value val. So what we have to do is we have to update index with value val, right? So first, if start is equal to end, that means only one element, and it is a leaf node. So we directly put tree of node is equal to value. We store the new value to that node and we come back, right? Else what we'll do is, else we find the mid and we check if the index is lesser than or equal to mid, means the index that we have to update is present in the left child, then we call update function for the left child. Else we call the update function for the right child, right? So once we updated left child and right child, then we again have to update the parent sum. We again have to update the sum stored at the parent node. So we take sum from the left child and we take sum from the right child, and so left child sum plus right child sum is equal to parent sum, right? So after either updating left child or updating right child, we have to update the sum stored at the parent node. So these are the functions for the build function, for query and for updation. So if you see the complexity of segment tree, so for building the segment tree we take big of n time, and for querying in a segment tree we take big of log n time, and even for updation also we take big of log n time, and for space we take big of 4n, 4 into n times, right? So these are the complexity. Now the question comes, when we use segment tree, so when we are asked for range queries, either finding sum in a range, finding minimum of a range, finding maximum of a range, finding GCD of a range, yeah, finding XOR of a range. So if we are asked for range queries, and also updates happens in the updates happen in between the queries, and both update and queries need to be fast, in that case we use segment tree. So let's see the variations of the segment tree. right? So segment tree is not just only for storing sum, we can also store minimum, maximum, greatest common divisor, या XOR of a range, right? Just what we have to do is we have to change the merge function. Like earlier what we were doing is we were taking left child plus right child, right? So if we have to take minimum, then we take minimum of left child comma right child. Similarly we take maximum of left child comma right child, or we can take GCD of left child comma right child, or we can take XOR of left child and right child. So we just have to change the merge function, then we can use the same code for these operations also, like minimum, maximum. So this is all about segment tree, right? Next video we'll see lazy propagation, which is also an advanced topic of segment tree. So in next video we'll be looking this topic. So I hope I am able to explain you the segment tree properly. So if you like the video, please make sure to like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.